Hello, everyone. Aradhana Tiwari from Be the Change by Aradhana. Welcome to the talk show. And I'm here waiting for you guys. And I'm very, very excited for the guest today. So I'll just wait for you guys to join in and then talk a little bit more. So, hello. Welcome. Whoever is joining us. So, hi, Rohini. Hello. I can see you on my phone. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Thank you. So I just meanwhile waiting for you. Will actually whosoever is here. Hi Umesh. I would love to again introduce what the Be the Change talk show is and what is the Be the Change page is. So I'm Aradhana Tiwari has found I'm the founder of this page of Be the Change. So the whole idea around Be the Change is the change you truly be on the planet and the gift you be on the planet. And um, I believe and I trust that everybody has a gift of their own, but we have been trying to be so normal, average, um, and just like others. And that is when we are struggling. That is when we are actually giving up. And today, money has become so big. Everything has become so big that we have forgotten us, our innate capacity, our innate potency to be like normal, average, like others. But I guess who are we like trying to be like? So what if you stop trying to be like others and start being you? And there is a gift in you, and you know what the gift is? Something that you think you are worst at, or is the worst thing in you. Probably that's the gift you knew, and that is a potency in you which you are not seeing. So I'm just inviting you in this space, everybody and anybody who is actually willing to follow their heart and the courage. We have thought enough through our heads. What if it's now the time to follow your heart? So this is the whole invite of the talk show is I invite all the celebrities. And for me, everybody who's following their heart and had the courage to follow their heart and knowing and have created a difference on the planet is a celebrity. So I'm so excited. I have been talking to last 3 4 guests, and there's so much of changing in my own world, and I'm sure it has been a contribution to a lot of other people also. So if you have any guests, or if you know anybody, or if you have made a change in anybody's life and you followed your heart and you did not follow normal, regular, average, intelligent stuff, and you were the weird, wacky one and have created, and you know something special, you're most welcome on this page. And I'm happy to feature you here. And you can always connect to me and my team. And today's guest is an amazing friend of mine, Sonali Gupta. And I'm very, very excited. She is like, it's like a first sight love with her. So I love her and I adore her. And I have seen her following her heart and her dreams. And she started her life with us being a housewife, and then how she in span of like 4 5 years, I've seen her growing up, creating her own business, being the celebrity, being the pastry personality on now. And Sonali Gupta is a sports and a social entrepreneur, author, motivational speaker, healer, social media influencer, and recent winner of Mrs. Bharat Icon Pageant 2019. And Sonali believes in the motto that empowered people have the ability to empower others. And she conducts various workshops to furnish this endeavor. She has her own talk show based on sports called Go Beyond Sports. Sonali is often associated with various causes in the city, primarily backing women's empowerment. She also strongly believes and has resolved to take up the cause of no judgment. So I'm very, very excited and I'm very, very happy to introduce you to Sonali Gupta. Sonali, welcome. Can you be here? Can we have you online, please? Hello, welcome, Sonali. Thank you for joining us, and
Thank
I'm
you
so,
so
so
much.
excited to have you here. So, I mean, I can go on and on about you, as you know that. So, yes, thank you for following your heart, and you have been such an inspiration for me all through. I've been watching you, and the kind of back you have, and though you also have your own issues, like we all have, and I love as being a friend that when you cry your heart, that is also I know, but then you never fall into it, and you still get up and keep going. So I'm amazed with your journey. I wonder where to start with, but yes, my first thing is you being a housewife, a mother of three. That's amazing, and having such a hot figure what is the secret, and what actually took you from there to having this everything in your life, being the page three person, creating your, go beyond sports, and empowering women and everybody, I guess. So can we have few words from
Can I just say that it takes a friend like you?
you?
Um,
Ah.
I have been hearing it, and thank you so much. I don't think I realized at any point in time that I have done so much, or that I have actually reached from point A to wherever that I have reached today. I don't know what point I am at. All I know is that I always wanted to do things. I always, and I still want to do a lot of things. And yes, like you mentioned, we all have our own stories. We all have our own limitations. We all have our own little niches that we are all limited in. And it takes a lot of courage to go out and go beyond and to do something for yourself. uh, for that, it really takes a lot of support. Like we all say, no man is an island to himself. We really do need our friends, our family, and most of all ourselves to fall back on. It, yes, everybody talks about how you need to be your support system and you need everything, but a 3 a.m. friend really truly is a 3 a.m. friend. And that's the time when you really meet somebody. And you've been that anchor in my life. And yes, you've seen me through my journey. It's amazing to now be able to be on the other side of this with you. So
Yeah, I'm
that's
so
where we
happy.
begin.
I am so happy. I am so happy. And, it really makes me proud, like, to be here today, having you on this platform and, asking those questions, because I have seen you from like how you started your journey to here. And, so for me, that's the place when I wanted to invite you, other people to listen to you is like, because, as India, we all have a lot of women who are being in housewives, and they're doing good business families, doing very well. But every woman deep down desires to be like something, to be seen, to be working, to be having, creating her own career. And you always had big dreams, and, wanted to be a pageant, you wanted to do the pastry, you wanted to be the socialite, you wanted to create something big. And, everything that you've created is so amazing. And it's like, and what were the things, what actually brought you to that, and what was the courage, and what all you went through? Can you, like, if you would like to tell people that, and where never to give up, and what not to give up for?
So can I say that it actually didn't begin with me having a list of to-do list where I have these 10 things I want to do and I'm going to keep tick marking. So, okay, now I'm the mother and now I'm the, now I have gone beyond and now I'm going to do things. It actually didn't happen that way. I kept on choosing different things. The moment I kept having some choice, some little window to do something, I just kept on choosing and choosing. And that's how it all actually panned out for me. The moment I got an opportunity for something, I would take that little baby step towards it. And those little baby steps have actually led me to where I am today. So today, maybe I can say with conviction that yes, I am where I am today. But no, when we always talk about back then, I didn't know that I would be here today. So big dreams, hopes, desires, we all have them, like you said. I've had them probably for the last, as many number of years, probably as even as a teenager. It has taken me, say, these span of so many years at probably a 40 plus or whatever it is, to be able to even reach somewhere closer to where I thought I would like to be. So again, yes, support system is very, very important. How life plays out for you is very, very important. When I got married, I didn't know um, whether I would be here 20 years later. When I had kids, one kid and two kid and the third kid, I didn't know that at some point in time I would take myself precedence over probably bringing up the kids. Most of the women today, and like you said, I'm going to talk particularly about our country, about our communities, or the ways most of us are brought up is, and this is back then because we don't bring up our kids like that anymore, is where getting married, raising good kids was pretty much the definition of you being a good person, pretty much the definition of how you have kept your family together. And those values, yes, still are in almost all of us. But then there also came a point in time where I realized that this is not enough for me. I always had this desire to do more. I knew that this would not be how my life ends. This would not be the last chapter. I would not stop at just being the mother of the three kids or having raised them very well or having taken care of the
What,
family.
if I may ask, what was the drive in you? What actually, I mean, what actually really pulled you through all these years when you were actually, bringing up kids? And I've seen you really been very responsible with your kids too, and you've been really taking care of them as well as your home. And then at the same time, you had this thing of like creating something amazing, which you have.
Can I say that I think I am somebody who's very resilient, and I am somebody who's very, very, very hopeful. I don't give up. I don't give up on this. I don't know if I can call it positivity, but I don't give up on this fact that something cannot happen. I
Wow.
believe very, very strongly that something is always possible. And I think that has always been my driving force. I call myself this eternal hopeful, and I think that's who I am, right? I'm
Wow.
eternally hopeful. I am always hopeful ki okay, ab nahi, sometime else. Yes, I do dwell over the fact that life has gone by, right? I dwell about the fact that okay, I'm not a teen anymore. I'm not a young adult anymore. If I had this um, these acquisitions or whatever that it is now at this point in time, I don't know how I would have had it then. But in hindsight, as a more conscious person, I would say that there was no better time for me to have achieved everything that I have, and there is no better time for me to be who I am than what I am today.
So when you were really, really going through the lows, and I've seen you that, and too, and what was that one thing? I know we all were there. We
Can I say
that's
not going through or were, because there's no were, right? It's I think it's a cycle. It's the energy. You're sometimes you're sometimes up the peak, sometimes you're down. You kind of it is a part and parcel of your life. Just because one gets spiritual, just because one gets conscious, it really doesn't mean that you're not going to go through the gamut of
Yes.
emotions that you feel as a human being. The only thing that really changes is how much you feel it and how deep you feel it and how far you allow it to affect you. So if I may have wallowed in something, say for 4 days in a row, I probably do it only for 4 minutes. But that doesn't mean that I have stopped doing it. My drama continues because that's a part of me, right?
Yeah.
If I don't do it, I'm
That's
not,
what you are, and that
right?
then where would I go, right?
Where would I be? And so the good is mine and the bad is mine, and the drama is mine too.
Wow, awesome. So if I remember, that is how your journey was, and you kept thinking and thinking of big and how would I create. So and then you started writing a book, and I think it's called Love.
Of
What's that?
love, life, and everything in between. That was
Yeah,
my first book.
yeah.
And I am now in the midst of publishing and releasing my second book called Habitude. So the
Awesome.
first one was a series of poetry, which I had written at that point in time when I was also a facilitator. I was seeing a lot of clients in terms of their healing and in terms of therapy sessions. There was a lot that I was speaking to people, and there was a lot of first-hand experience that I was gathering from them and hearing the stories. So there was this phase that I really connected so much to the emotional aspect of who we are in terms of our relationships. I also still have this point of view and my belief that somewhere, no matter how successful you are, true happiness really lies when you kind of have peace within your relationships. You could be the CEO of a multinational, but if you come home to an unhappy home, you seriously truly don't measure yourself as a successful person. So
Wow.
somewhere
Wow.
family, somewhere your close relationships, somehow these have always been very, very important. And also these that actually greatly influence our lives. We could watch as many number of movies, and we can watch as, I mean, read as many books, hear the quotes, hear people talk. But unless you connect to this within the circle of people you have, it really never changes anything for you.
Wow. So you mean
So
the fight has to be dropped first. And is that the fight with outside, or is it the fight inside? Because you've been very intuitional, and you have been really, really working on healing sessions as well. And he's healing to book writing, to glamour world, to the sports world. It's like a wow, wow, wow in your world.
yes,
So I just want to have that aspect of it, that what actually got you to the point that you have to drop the fight around you, like, because that's the first thing, that I'm a woman, I have to show up, I have to make a plan. I'm not able to do it because of my kids, or I'm not able to do it because of my
it still
family.
is, Aradhana. I would say somewhere it still is, right? Because at every point in time, there is a different version of you that is required to take that forward. What may
Yeah.
have been required for me as a writer was probably different from a version of me that requires to run a company. So today, the kind of issues that I face within me and say outside of me are very different from what I did when I was an author. And which is why I say a struggle is always ongoing, and nothing can be devoid. What within us is outside of us, and what's outside of us is within us. So we cannot truly, in my opinion, compartmentalize something and say the struggle is outside or it is inside. The struggle is always as a whole. You have to be able to balance this struggle, is where then it really comes to a point that, okay, now what is outside of me is also truly within me. So if I
Wow.
have that space inside, then it is also
So
outside
you
of.
mean the congruency is really, really required for you to move ahead.
Yes.
So would you like to say something around, how you get into depressions and you get into the sadness mode? What is one tool here? Because at the start of your journey, where you also find all the reasons to negate yourself, that you're not doing well, you're not doing good, you really can't make that big. So what is that one tool you would like to give it to the people, that, they should keep following, or simplest tool that you think will be possible for them to remember at that time?
I think for me, like I said, I'm an eternal hopeful. Even in my deepest despair moments, I have always had that little tiny glimmer of braveness inside me, which says, you know what, fuck this all, because I'm going to do better than this.
Wow.
I have never, I mean, I'm like, okay, how important is it for me, right? I mean, I really have been down there, and the only thing that kept going is that, okay, if not today, tomorrow. If not, so there's a quote from my very, 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 it's a quote that keeps me going, is from this book, Gone with the Wind. And that's the last line of that book, which says, after all, tomorrow is another day. And I think I have lived by it every single day, because today I am this, tomorrow I will not be this. I will be
Wow.
better, or I would be worse, but I will still not be this. And
Beautiful.
that's kept me going.
That's so beautiful. Wow. So there's going to be tomorrow, guys. Don't give up. So then,
There is, and the tomorrow. So again, not giving up is, it doesn't come from this fact that, okay, today I haven't won the race, tomorrow I am going to win the race. It's not necessary. I may not win the race tomorrow also, but the fact that I have been able to live through this day for tomorrow this race may not matter to me as much as it does today. And
true.
so again, each moment, each day, every minute is different. It's never the same.
Yeah. So what is past is already past.
Yes,
Yes.
don't
And
cry
it
over
never,
spilled milk.
and yeah, don't cry over it. It never repeats.
It
That's what I
doesn't.
sense. It doesn't
It
repeat. And we
yes, and
think, and we get the fear of it, that maybe that'll repeat in itself. And
it does, Radha, in a way, we all have our own patterns, right? So in that sense of it, a lot of times when you are down in your depths of loneliness, or hopelessness, or you're beating yourself down, you also kind of want to rethink. And every time things seem like a pattern, right? You feel like, oh, I never get win, or I'm never first, or I'm never I'm never, or I'm not enough, I'm not good, I'm not this. We all have it for something or the other. I may be good at a lot of things, but there will be something that I'm not good at, which will actually constantly bother me. So again, it's up to us to really think what it's like these quotes that are there, you choose the battle you want to fight, so you really choose the battle you want to fight. You cannot go to fight for every single battle that's happening on this, so you choose your own.
Wow, that's amazing. And from book, so what is this Aptitude book is all about, which is coming in?
So happitude is actually amalgamation of two words, happiness and gratitude. And the book is like a workbook journal, which talks about incorporating happiness and gratitude in your life on a daily basis. We all know about it. We definitely have experienced it. We all do it in some way or the other. But again, how much ever gratitude you may feel, express, say, have, it's never enough.
So
And
say something
happiness is
around
never enough.
gratitude. Say something about the happiness and the gratitude. What do you know, and
I
what is your
really
take on
think
it?
gratitude is an acquired attitude, and something that I have also mentioned over and over again is that, when you're in school, you are taught to say thank you, you're taught to say sorry, you're welcome, these kind of the kind words that they were called, or the golden words that they were called. For the longest time, we do it because we were taught to do it. But at some point in time, you make that shift when you really truly mean that thank you, and when you truly mean that sorry, and you really say please to someone, please, can you do this for me? So I think that is where this comes from, right? From saying it to actually becoming it.
Wow. So what do you have to say? How is that journey from saying to becoming
I think I'm
to
still
being
on
it?
the journey, right? Because, like I said, it's just never enough. I'm not sure if there is some kind of a marker that you can have to consciousness, or I don't know if there is some kind of a limit that you can kind of have to awareness, or how much joy can you have in your life, or how happy can you be. I think these are kind of things that they're just they just don't have a definition. I don't think words can limit it, or numbers can limit it. There's nothing that can define it.
So do
And
you
so
think
there is never
people?
enough.
So do you think people get stuck into the definitions and limitations of the words?
People could, right? Also comes from that there is not enough that has been inculcated in our value system as kids. We still haven't come to this point in time in the world where we are talking about these things at grassroots levels with our kids. We teach them to say thank you, and we teach them to be grateful, but how truly conscious and aware and happy they can be is something that we've still not been able to do. Individually, yes, we are all doing it. As much as we know, we hand it down either to our kids, or we talk about it to our parents or friends or whatever it may be. But again, I believe that if it becomes a part of this whole system, whether it's through education, whether, it could be in so many different ways, uh, that is when the entire shift on the planet can actually happen.
So what is that one step that you are taking for it to change in your family and
I
with your
believe,
kids?
Mahatma Gandhi always said that if you sweep, or I hope I'm right that it was him, uh, if you sweep the front of your doorstep, the world would be ultimately clean. This is another quote that has stuck with me for as long as I remember, that I must have read it in childhood. And I think that's where we can begin, right? One step at a time, one person at a time, one child as a time. As a mother, I have three at a time.
I love them. So how is the journey from your being an author to the total glam world where you've been on the page three, where you've been covered on the circuit, the Formula One, right? The
Um,
Buddha circuit in Delhi and driving an
that was me
Audi.
ticking off my bucket list. But so can I, Aradhana, for the first time after many years, I realized that beyond the definitions of the roles that we play, right, as a mother, it could be a teacher, daughter, whatever roles that you're playing, somewhere each one of us, and I'm not going to say only women, I'm going to say each one of us, or most of us, forget what we wanted as an individual, right? It's a rut it's a rat race, it's an automated life. We kind of go through the drills or these phases in life. But at some point in time, most of us do get to this point where we ask ourselves that, okay, now what? Where am I going with this? What do I want to do with this in my life? What about those bucket lists that I had? What about those adventure sports I wanted to do?
You mean you
Uh,
did not wait until your kids will grow old and get married and then you'll do
yeah,
the bucket list?
and I have been told this time and again, that you're not being a good mother if you're leaving them and you're going out, and you need to be home with them, they're still young, and all of these, everything, every single time I am stepping out, every time, every single day, I'm answerable to this question. And trust me, like you asked me, it is a struggle. It really is a struggle for me internally and emotionally, not having to feel guilty that, okay, am I truly not taking care of my kids? Am I truly not standing up in society for my family if I may have missed something? It is an ongoing process.
So how
And
do you balance it? So give the tips to how to balance that. And how do you actually not balance the world, but balance your own head, your own guilt, and move beyond that. And then still choose for you. And you kept choosing and you've created an amazing journey. And it's like fabulous when we see it. Like I see it, I'm like, wow. And every step you kept moving, it was like, wow, I'll have that. I'll have that.
I've realized if I am happy, I can keep my kids happier.
Wow.
I have also realized that if I'm building something for myself, and if we are talking about kids, we're talking about family, and I've seen family turn around. At some point in time, they will see that you are as true to it as you are to yourself. Most times, families, and let's talk about parents, primarily it's your parents who will say, oh, you're not doing this, because you get affected, like I said, with your inner circle. So if it's my inner circle that says you're not being a good mother, it's going to affect me. If an outsider says you're not a good mother, I'll say, dude, you're not even in my shoes, so don't bother. Right?
Correct.
That's my thinking. Now, if my mom is going to tell me you're not being a good mother, I'm going to think like, oh my gosh, am I really not doing this? But at the same time, I'm like, no, you know what? Maybe 5 years from now, when my kids see what I am building, or my kids see me the way I am, they might feel proud. I don't even care at this point in time whether they feel proud, because at this point in time, I'm proud of myself.
Wow. So when you are proud of yourself, definitely the world will be. And if
And
it
and
doesn't, it
again,
really
to come
doesn't bother.
exactly, to
Yes.
actually come to this point that I am beyond. So again, when people say, oh, I'm beyond pleasing people, I don't truly believe it, because again, we live in a society. You cannot not be a part of the society. You cannot not be a part of the system. I'm not going to jump with my clothes off in an ocean and say, hey, I don't care about society. I do care, because there are certain norms, I think, that one must adhere to, because it makes it also easier for others to live in together. Synergy is required. But at the same time, I am also choosing things for myself, and I am making myself happier. And if I, again, like I said, what I have inside of me, I will project it outside. So if doing this makes me happy, I'm very sure I will do the same for my kids outside. If it is about balancing home and work, then yes, I have probably ensured that I am with my kids at their mealtime, or with them in the car while we are traveling, or I am attending their school meetings as much as I can. And at the same
Wow.
time, the onus is never, if you are two parents together, then yes, the onus is not just on one parent, and which is where again your support system comes in so handy. Whether you have parents, whether you have friends, whether you have a husband, whoever is there in your inner circle supporting you on this journey. I have also learned to ask for help
That I
without
wanted to ask that. How do you get the support of the family and everyone? So you have to ask.
I you have to ask, right? You have to go beyond yourself. You have to go beyond the judgment of. It has taken me a long time, Aradhana, to realize that if someone is saying no, they are not saying no to me.
Wow.
They are saying no to this thing that I'm asking for. And it has taken me a long time to understand that they are not rejecting me.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
It's
Thank you.
not a rejection of you, it's the rejection of just the thing that you're asking. If you're asking your husband to go out for a movie and he says no, he's not rejecting you. He's only saying, you know what, I don't want to go for the movie. And this is what most of us do as, say, as a couple. When somebody, the other person has refused to do something, we take it so personally. We think like, you know what, you're not listening to me, you're not doing what I say, it's always your way. No, I think it's much more.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. So now coming to your hot, sexy body. So, so what
Okay.
made you, after being the mother of three, and have that confidence that you can walk the ramp shows you've been walking, and do the Audi photo shoot, and it's like stunning, like how? So, I mean, did you have any complexes? Did you like go through, because getting from a regular housewife to total, walking, talking pageant for different places, and you run the pageant in 2019, right? Bharat pageant. Yeah, that's
Can I say I
amazing.
was like this before I got married?
Yeah, I totally get you. You are, that is why you're here where
So,
you are. So, but it is like, what actually, did anything come up? Did anything show up? Did you have that confidence, or was like, yeah, as you said, you were always like that before marriage?
um, as
Because
far
that
as
is one thing really, really hits all of us, right? Like, will I be able to make that? Because I'm married, I have three kids, and how would I walk a ramp show? How would I do that? And how are the judgments about ourselves
yeah,
24/7? So how to deal with them?
yeah, I still have judgments about myself, right? If you talk about body, you know it best. I am always fretting over either the weight or the flab or the. I mean, I think we all have it, and trust
So,
me,
but
it's
does
not
that
just me.
matter now, being so
It
much? Yeah.
it still does, right? Because I'm like, oh my god, look at me. I could have been better. So I think that's just me, right? Somewhere, if I have to also have fun with this aspect of me where I'm constantly judging myself and I'm saying, Sonali, look at you, you're so fat. I think at some point in time, I should be able to say, you know what, Sonali, you're the only one who's going to call yourself fat because look at people. So I think you need to turn around your story. You have to stop being the victim and become the hero of your own story. And I think that is where the shift can lie. And again, heroes don't have to have a certain kind of a special power, because there are so many superheroes with so many special powers. They look different, they wear different clothes, they're all different. We all are superheroes. And there are pageants out there which really primarily are for say women who are size plus, and it's amazing. So if you think you are really that, go participate. Like, confidence at the end of the day is the only thing that takes you through. And confidence is again something that you acquire, something that you build, because through our journey of life there will always be times that we have come across someone who hasn't been kind, who hasn't said a nice word to you, someone who's sort of had a little harsh opinion about you. And I think it's great, because if you don't have it, you're always viewing life through your rose tinted glasses. You think everything is easy, you think everything is fun. But no, it isn't, right? You have to get to a point that you can make everything fun and easy. But life by itself is not, it's not fun and games. There are people who view everything in a very different way. An apple may not be red enough for someone.
So
And
what
an
did you say
apple,
to yourself then? What do you say at that moment when you're really, really judging yourself, and what actually gets you, take you up,
friends like
get
you.
dressed? Oh,
So,
thank you. I'll receive that. Yet there is
uh,
something that I guess that, Sonali, that everybody goes through enough, and we all friends are there for each other, support, call friends. That's why I always say you
I
have
think,
somebody there.
Aradhana, it's the desire to make the change,
That, yeah.
right? If you want to make the change, you will. If you desire, and the word choice, which I know you is your favorite word. So if you choose to make the change, you will. And every morning when I am looking at myself, if I am not happy with it, my question is like, Sonali, what are you doing about it? Are you willing to go through the diets that it takes? I'm like, shit, no, I can't diet to save my life. So then be happy with what you have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's either you can do what it takes, or then you be happy with what you have.
Wow.
So that's where I come from.
Awesome.
And then I will do what it takes to
So
the
while
extent that I can do what it takes.
if you truly desire, you will have it, guys. Remember that. It's it's
If
actually
you
your
truly
desire.
desire, yes. And then again, as much as you want to push yourself, like I would not do anything. I would not do anything to push myself beyond or tip over. I would not do it.
You only allow other people and you only push other people by your videos, right? That's what you do, Sonali. You pushed
I
me.
hope
I have you did push me, and now I'm coming to your Go Beyond Sports, the company you started, and you know how you brought throw ball back again in action, and you got women, and I saw you in Bombay like playing, and you know all those um, uh, schools teams participating, and all the women getting back, all the married women getting and playing through ball, and you know, and from there now you start the Go Beyond Sports company, right, where you're also interviewing and you're challenging people to do. And I remember seeing your one of the videos where you had the plank for a month, and I did it. I didn't post it, but I did it for like almost like more than a month.
I
I'm
am
like,
just coming out of my one another live session, Aradhana, right now, which was 108 Surya Namaskars. And we've
wow,
had over, I think we had about a good 30, 40 people at one go doing 108 Surya Namaskars today.
yeah,
So,
wow. So you've been
yes,
into sports, yeah, and you've been really fan of badminton. That's what I know. And from badminton to throw ball to now, you know, challenging people in different fields of sports and just giving them simple tools to you know exercise at home and being happy with their body. Can you talk about this
so can
change?
I start with the fact that, Aradhana, I as a child have, I think until about 16, 17 years of my life, I don't remember a single day that I must not have played, right? I've been very active in terms of games. I played a lot of cricket as a girl, as the only girl. Back then, I have done everything from kite flying to playing marbles to playing cricket to sprinting to fighting with the boys, playing football. So, I mean, yes, if a tomboy was the word given or to be used, possibly was, still am maybe. Um, and then came this point where, you know, I wasn't actively playing so much. I, of course, got into college, uh, got married, had kids, but I missed sports. I missed sports to the extent because sports for me is a life skill. Sports gives you this ability to be disciplined, to be resilient, to be mentally tough, to be very strong. I'm also a Taekwondo black belt. And I think that has been a great asset to me. Today, I may not be able to say even behave or look like a black belt, but what knowledge that I have and what it gave me in terms of confidence was that come no matter what, I know at least that little bit that if I'm walking by an alley, I am not afraid. It has
Wow.
taken away fear from me. And which is why I'm a great advocate of sports, of challenging yourself. Sports challenges you like nothing else does. Yeah, I mean, yes, gym, you're talking about 10 reps and you're talking about 12 and you're doing 14. But at the same time, I think sports is beyond that too, right? Because here you are challenging, and like we spoke about, it is such a struggle inside as much as it is outside, because you're not only competing with your own self, but you're also having to compete with others. So again, for me, sports really makes a lot of difference. It started with me being active at all points and times. Badminton for me personally happened only about 3 years ago, and last year, in fact, this year was the first time in my life that I actually participated at a national level tournament, and I also reached the qualifiers, like the quarterfinals. So for
You
me,
mean at the age of 40, after 40, you can do that?
don't add the pluses, but yes. So after 40, I took up badminton. I played it. I coached whatever little bit that I could
Wow.
in between me being absent, me being with the kids. Today, my son has 102 fever. I can't come, sir. Today it is raining, sir. I'm very far. I've been through those. And from that to, oh, today there is the Diwali now, 10 days I can't come. So all of those kind of things to reaching this point where today I'm like, if it's Diwali or Holi or whatever, I am going for that 1 hour because it's mine.
Okay. Wow.
So it's everything is a transition. And yes, throwball was my introduction to get back into sport where motivating people, getting them on the field. I saw throwball as this huge opportunity for women to be able to come back, right? All of us as girls have played sports. At some point in time, we were all allowed to play. Until then, we were not allowed to play anymore because it almost became like, can you play? Should you play? Should you not play? So where is that fun and games within us that is, it keeps you alive, it keeps you young, it
So,
keeps you.
so what was it that you chose throw ball, no other game, and what was the
So again,
response of the women?
Aradhana, it was not really so much of a choice where I sat down and I thought, ki, okay, throw ball, basketball, football. No, it wasn't that. Like I said right at the start, I kept choosing when things came my way. So
Mhm.
I just had someone who asked, hey, there is this league happening in throwball. Would you like to own a team? And I just jumped at it. I said, yes, I want to. Because for me, that was an opportunity I saw and I just went through. I didn't think about it. After I got in, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? I don't know anything about being a team owner, right?
So
But
you follow the energy of it.
I
You just
started.
go.
I
Wow.
started enjoying what I was doing. I enjoyed the process of putting the team together, the process of putting the team, the people, the game. So it's when you start enjoying your journey. So at every point in time, I was like, is this for me, right? Because when I'm going to compare myself to the others who've been a part of the field, I'm like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So that's where that started. It led me to form this company. It, yes, again, when we talk about empowerment through sports, that's my thing with my chat show that I've been doing for over a year, where I invite people from various fields of sports, various aspects of sports to come and talk about the importance of it as a life skill, and how empowering and how motivational and how inspiring it is, really in a way that it changes your life.
Yeah. And what has been the response of the women and the people who are actually following those, your team and getting into your team? Because I think almost all of them are married women, right?
So yes, that one part of the league that we talk about, Aradhana, that's where it was a league primarily for a lot of married women who actually started playing after years. They were very, very happy, and they said that this is kind of made us come alive.
Mm.
Most of them are still playing. Most of them have got to this level of competing for as many number of tournaments. The number of tournaments have increased. So it's great that maybe I had a very small role in introducing this platform to probably 10 people,
Mhm.
while others chose seeing the 10 people, and the 10 people made another 10 people, and that's how you grow.
So tell me one thing, how can you help people? Like most of the women don't know what is my calling and what am I here? And most, not only women, only also men at times. I've seen that, it's with everyone. That we do not know what is our true calling. How do you know
I'll
that?
tell you, I think it comes from this point, or maybe it comes from this thing that most people, when they're trying to look at the first calling set or my true calling, they're not willing to make a mistake,
Ah, that.
right?
Wow.
You have to make a lot of choices to actually know which one suits you.
So you
You
mean some of the
really,
choices might did upset you and you thought they were
most of
failure?
them, so many of them. Like you have to eat all kind of fruits to know which is your favorite, right? And
True.
then you can say, well, I was just born to eat mangoes. But unless you've tasted an apple, you don't know you like a mango.
True. Wow, that's amazing. So it's not like a bed of roses, like, but do you enjoy everything? Because if it just be the bed of roses, it will be too easy. Is that so? Or is it, or do you enjoy this ups and downs and the fun part of it? What do you say about that? Like, had it been just very same simple plain, would have you enjoyed as much as you've been enjoying, like with your failures and up down? What would you say around failures?
I think if I didn't know that there was only bed of roses available in life and there was nothing else, I may have been very happy to have had a bed of roses.
Yeah.
But if I know that there are roses and there are tulips and there are daffodils and there are sunflowers, I would want to experience all of them.
Yeah, and that's what you've been doing. That you've been really playing with like different spaces, right?
Yes. So
As an
that's, I
author, as
think for
an
me, then again, I would say, oh my God, I get bored. I'm so like, I don't want the same thing over and over again. So
yeah.
I think that's just me, right? I like change. Uh, Again, people are not comfortable with change, but I am also not. So it's not like you can shift me out of my room, you can shift me out of my house whenever you want and say, hey, you said you don't mind change. I love the comfort of where I am. I love the comfort of the one chair that I sit in every single day. I love that. But at the same time, I am not perturbed by the things that happen in my life. I am okay with the change. I am absolutely okay being in my house for the last 3 months in the lockdown. I have not complained even once. I'm like, wow, nothing better than this, right? If I
Wow.
am not looking at the aspect of it as a lockdown, I have been very happy. I'm very happy. I have made this change. It's been such an easy transition that I didn't even have to think whether I am in making a change in my life or not. But it's been 3 months. I haven't stepped out for a single moment, and I'm absolutely okay. And I don't even want to step out now. I'm like, good.
So now with your go beyond sports, so what is your future that you see with the corona thing and everything right now? And now what is your next journey towards?
See, for sports and Corona right now, obviously it's a long way to go. There are a lot of experts in the field who've been talking about it. My only take would be that yes, because sports is something that's played actively on court, on field, you really have to wait until things settle down from the higher authorities point of view when they think it is okay for things to start opening. Until then, nothing really can happen. So yes, it's about staying healthy, staying strong, and which is where a lot of go beyond sports online challenges, and not just go beyond sports, but just about everybody who's able to bring something out in people to challenge them, motivate them, keep fit. There have been people who are doing all kinds of things. So I am also one of them who is also doing these online challenges, motivating people to keep fit. And again, there is going to be another side. It's not going to be the same, but
Yeah.
yes, you will still go on the other side of it.
So what keeps you going these days?
In fact, I'm more busy, if I can put it that way. And I've never had a routine in my life. Now finally I have a routine where I'm actually dedicating the hours to, okay, I know when I'm eating and when I'm sleeping and when I'm doing my online Zoom things.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing your home things. I've been cooking. So a whole lot of
So
things.
it's amazing to watch your journey, and I mean that we just have to be here. The purpose is only one thing to come here is not that true. Like looking at your journey, you have tried and played with so many things, and
I think it's,
you've excelled with everything. Like, and I'm sure by another
you know,
5 years, ten
Aradhana,
years,
it's
you'll have
it's
more.
great that you say you have excelled, because at so many points in time and at so many days when I'm going through my lows, when I'm deep down in the pits, I'm like, I have been a failure. I
So
have
tell me, is
had
there
this
truly a
constant
failure ever?
dialogue in my head, like, oh my God, I have failed. There are times when I will wallow. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm also a terrible mother. I will tell my kids, you know what, I'm so sorry, I'm a bad mother. And my kids think that I'm mad. Like they truly think I'm mad. So yeah, there are days, and I get that I am saying I'm a failure only based on my own judgments of myself. And that judgment always comes when I'm trying to compare myself, right? When I say when you say, oh my God, look at you, you're so hot, and when I'm saying, oh my God, I'm so fat, that's because you may be comparing me it in a different way to another version of what you think is hot, whereas I'm looking at myself at another version of what I think is fat.
So
And
how
so
to
it's,
deal with that now?
I think, Aradhana, again, knowing yourself is very important, and which is where going within again is very, very important, whether it is coming through books you read, whether it is coming through motivational talks, self-help. There is a lot that is happening out there. If you have this quest of wanting to understand what it is that makes me angry, what it is that makes me come down to this low every now and then maybe you will want to go beyond it. But if you don't, if you're happy being who you are, so be it too.
Wow. So you have to know more of you. So you have to go inwards and to know more. So any tools you would like to give people to know themselves more, to actually go inwards? Because
I
I
think more,
remember when
again,
I
more
was
of
told to go inwards, I would like see where to go inwards. Inside is all, my heart, my kidney, my liver, where to go inside. So if you can say a little bit about that. So give some tools which you would love people to have, and what tools would you like to leave them with? Though you've given enough of them and they're amazing, what more can you have?
I Radna, I'm very fascinated with knowing things. it comes from my quest of wanting to know and understand. And when the first time I heard that every disease is psychosomatic, and if you have a knee pain, it's because your ego is hurting somewhere, or it fascinates me. I don't dismiss things very easily. I like to know more about it. If it's occult you're talking about, I will want to know more about it. If it is even the stock markets, I will want to know more about it. It comes from my quest of wanting to know more. And again, which is where I'm coming from, wanting to know more about myself, wanting to know what makes me so upset and irritable and angry. So, yes, the way to do it is, again, read a lot. I think reading is one of the best ways of kind of gaining knowledge, of knowing a world which is beyond the four walls of your own limitations. And be vulnerable, be very, very vulnerable, because if you cannot be vulnerable to your own self, if you cannot be true to your own self, if you are not ready to listen to the fact that yes, you can be a total bitch, I don't think you can change.
Wow,
And
that's amazing.
it takes that to be able to open yourself up to say, hey, you know what, I'm a mess. And it's very difficult for someone to say that. So yes, be okay to say I'm a mess.
We all
And then,
want to be good, Sonali. How can we be mess?
yeah, we all want to be good, but then again, it's what's good as a definition to what's good to you. My mess
True.
could be good to you.
True. Minded guys. Amazing. Amazing. I can never end this. But any questions coming in from you guys, any questions you would like to ask Sonali, please put in your questions. I'm watching your questions here on my phone. So meanwhile, yes, Sonali, what else? What else would you like to say before you go? And anything you would like people to join in for your Go Beyond Sports? Anything you would like to invite them for?
Yes, of course, I would love to. I don't think an opportunity enough to say, please, guys, do support me in my endeavor, because, again, like I said, it takes a lot to be able to ask for help, right? So here I am actually appealing to all of you that if you think it it makes a little small difference in my world, or to the world of the sports, or to the world of the players who may be on my platform, just by you liking a small post, or by you subscribing to my channel, or just by you sharing it, please do. It may be a small thing for you, but it makes a huge difference to me. So for as many number of people, there are posts, there are forwards, there are it doesn't take much for you to like it, or comment on it, or to share it, because it really helps the other person on that side who has made the effort to make it. So please do. Thank you.
And the links here are in the chat for Go
Yes,
Beyond
so it's
Sports.
Go Beyond Sports across all platforms, right from your LinkedIn to Twitter to Instagram, Facebook, whatever that you're following. Go Beyond Sports is on it as Go Beyond Sports. My website is gobeyond.sports.com. Please visit. And yes, there is a lot. There is a small platform I'm bringing together, I'm beginning to build. And like I said, I am a huge fan of getting support from my friends and family, and absolutely unknown people, so please be there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So that was amazing, Sonali. I think I loved it. I can never stop asking for more and more, and it can never end. But I think it was amazing. Thank you for all your contribution, and hope
Thank you
guys
so
you got
much.
enough. And I'm thanking to my team, Sonali,
Thank you.
Shivangi,
Thank you.
Ritu, and Parita. All thank you so much for creating
Thank
this,
you.
and it's
Thank you,
amazing.
everyone, for having
Yeah.
me on this. Thank you,
Yeah,
Aradhana.
and everybody who joined us, thank you so much. And looking forward to our next talk show next Sunday at 7 o'clock. And meanwhile, any questions, anything, you're most welcome to post us on our
Thank you.
chat and the page. Thank you. Thank you, Sonali. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.